So up till now, you spent 7 consecutive days tracking your food. And if you haven't done that, please go back and do that. Because I have a feeling if you haven't done it for the 7 consecutive days up till today, you probably won't be very successful in doing it for the next 30 days. And we do want you to continue to do that throughout this 30-day process of trying to get healthier. Now there's 3 reasons I want to talk in this video about controlling your portions. One is that we want to make sure that you're consuming, both eating and drinking, fewer calories or equal to the number of calories that you're burning for each day. Another reason is because you simply cannot out-exercise your diet. And that's something I heard like 4 years ago that really impacted me. I didn't understand it at first, but I learned to understand it through the subsequent years, because you're not going to be able to spend enough time out exercising to exercise away the calories that you're consuming, and if you're consuming too many calories. And the third thing is about controlling your portions is we're just not very good about guessing how much it is that we're consuming, the quantity of food that we're consuming, and the quantity of calories that we're consuming. So that's why we want to be thinking about it ahead of time, instead of just after we've tracked the food and then looked at and seen what we actually consumed. We want to think about it ahead of time. As we're consuming it, we want to be able to control the portions so that we know exactly how much we're consuming. And we know if we're overeating, and it's okay to overeat periodically, but we want to know that we're overeating so that we can make up for it in the long run, either at a later meal or at another day. That's what we want to talk about today, is strategies to help you control your portions. So that's whether it's at home or going out to a restaurant, and especially if you're going out to a buffet or if you're going to a party. So let's talk through strategies for each one of those scenarios.
Okay, so now hold on to your seat because we're going to talk about strategies to control your portions, and we're going to go through this pretty quickly. First of all, I want to say you want to eat what you love, just eat it in small portions. So all these foods here you can eat, just eat in small portions. So how to portion? Well, you may want to purchase a food scale. Now, I've never done this, but if you want to be super accurate in weighing your food out, you can buy a little food scale. I use snack bags to portion out my snacks or my foods. You can also use plastic containers if you want. Let's talk about how you portion based on serving size on the package. Now, some serving sizes are based on amounts. So in this case, it's 1/8 of a pizza, for example. You portion in the appropriate size or use your math skills to calculate your portion size. For example, if the portion size for a frozen pizza is 1/8 of a pizza, like shown here, and you cut the pizza into only 4 slices, then your portion size contains twice as many calories as what's stated on the box. So you just double the amount of calories. If the serving size is based on the volume, then use a cup or some smaller measure to actually measure out what it is that you're eating. Now third, if your serving size is based on weight, then use your scale or just simply use your math skills to calculate what your portion is. Now I suggest portioning packaged foods ahead of time. It saves time and is convenient when you're in a hurry, and that's when you can really eat more than you intend to, is when you're in a big hurry. Now if for time's sake you can't portion ahead of time, then portion as you go. In other words, take a serving size worth of potato chips, for example, out of the bag and lay them on your plate before eating them. Then close that bag up and move it far, far away, probably back in the cabinet, before you start to eat the chips on your plate. This way, you're less likely to eat more than you want, either on purpose or unconsciously. Now let's talk about controlling portions at restaurants. First of all, let's talk about drinks. I want you to limit your drinks, whether they're alcoholic or not. A few reasons for this. One is because they're expensive. Another reason is because if they're not diet drinks, they're high in calories. And the third reason is even if it's fruit juice, Even that's high in calories. So I suggest choosing water or black coffee or tea instead of getting any kind of sugary or alcoholic drink. Now, controlling your portions with regular meals. First of all, split the meal in half before you start eating. We showed you previously when we were going through the analysis that most restaurants serve you way bigger portion than what you really need. So strategy is to split the meal in half before you even start eating. Then go ahead and eat the first half and wait 10 minutes after eating that half, just to see, do I really need that second half or do I not? And then finally, if dessert is included in your meal, just ask for a box so you can take it home. Now, controlling portions with pizza. I suggest eating one slice of pizza, then wait 10 minutes before eating more. Now, some pizzas are smaller than others, obviously. If it's a super small pizza, then maybe say eat 2 slices and then wait 10 minutes before eating more. And the reason why you're waiting 10 minutes is just to see, do I actually need more or not? Now, on buffets, now these can be really a health buster, is going to restaurants with buffets. But the strategy is go ahead and eat a small portion of different things, including both things that you like and things that you want to try. So a very small portion. So don't even use those big ladles or the big spoons. Use like half of that or even a quarter of that. Don't be suckered into using a full-on ladle or a full-on spoon of something. You probably don't need that much, especially if you're eating a lot of different things. Secondly, wait 10 minutes before going back for a second plate. So that's a common theme. Now, above all else, when eating out at restaurants, don't worry about getting your money's worth. And this can be especially bad when you're at a buffet. This used to be one of my major downfalls. It can be especially challenging with all-you-can-eat buffets, with Red Robin's bottomless fries, for example, or sugary drinks with free refills. Remember that getting your money's worth is not nearly as important as being healthy. And if you're that concerned about your money when going out to a restaurant, either choose a different menu option altogether, choose a different restaurant, or just don't go out. I know that sounds harsh, but your health is worth the sacrifice. Now, controlling portions at events, and by events I mean parties, reunions, birthdays, wedding receptions, any kind of event where you're away from home and there's food involved. First of all, learn to say no thank you, or I'm sorry I can't. Now that can be uncomfortable at times, but it's worth the sacrifice. And it's okay to say why you want to eat something, especially if they ask, but don't make a big deal out of it, especially to the host or hostess. Also, don't shame others. Don't tell them they shouldn't be eating. And also don't tell them why they shouldn't be eating it unless they ask. Now, if they ask you questions about why, of course, go ahead and answer them factually without doing any of those previous things that we just talked about. Another thing is try not to eat while talking. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. One is you're more likely to eat unconsciously, which of course you don't want to do. You want to be very aware of what it is that you're eating and how much you're eating. And the second reason is, didn't your mama ever tell you not to talk with your mouth full? It's rude.